How did we get here? How did we get here? What in the Alice in Wonderland nightmares is going on right now?
All I can say is how fucking dare you?
If you voted for that man, if you voted for anybody other than Kamala and you live in one of the states that it was, close, or if you didn't vote, fuck you.
Senate race. It's not going to happen. Go, Kamala.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you.
How the fuck is this still happening? All I've ever known politically is hatred.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
I'm sorry to all my friends who are Trump supporters. But y'all don't understand how scared of this man I am.
If this guy does end up winning again, all of the people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating. And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared. Like we're scared for our lives. We're scared for our friends.
How dare you put this man into office for another 4 years, knowing damn well what it means for our country, what it means for us as a people.
To know that there is that much ignorance and that much hate in this country, it's so terrifying. It's so terrifying.
How the fuck are we back in this same situation again? Who the fuck is voting for him? Genuinely.
Fuck you. I don't want to hear about how shitty your life gets under his policies. Live with that decision. Sit with it. Let it make you uncomfortable. Fuck you.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash, and double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. It's a brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and today is November the 6th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And, today is 1 day removed from so-called election day. All right, which came with its own weird vibrations, I guess. But of course, the prophets of the Lord, were on standby watching, as is written in Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. The Lord has made us watchmen unto the house of Israel. Therefore, we should hear the words of his mouth and give the people warning from him. All right, and we've been warning about potential things that could happen, right? There was a lot of speculations and information coming out, about potential riots and potential, disruptions of the so-called election. I even did a video going into, they were saying that there was potentially going to be some form of martial law enacted on the 6th, which is today, right? And these are all speculations, right? Because ultimately, what we're waiting for is that one-time big bang, right? There's going to be that major event. It might not be yesterday, right? It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, okay? But we know for a fact in the very near future, there's going to be that major event that changes everything, right? And we've been saying, for my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, right? When you give warning, it's not supposed to be, especially a warning of this magnitude, it's not going to happen just overnight. All right, you're going to constantly hear that sound for a while, right? Because ultimately when it hits, you're not going to be able to turn around and say, I didn't hear it. All right, the Lord is making it abundantly clear. Okay, constant videos going up. I mean, we go into all kinds of stuff, all right? And we bring out information that it's not conspiracy theories anymore. It's just agendas that are being exposed. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's get this quick precept here. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Start off at verse 8. It says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." Okay. It says, "And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved." Right. So ultimately, the warning going out is part exposing, all right, Esau and his agendas that he has planned for the very near future to enable him in his quest for total control of humanity. Okay. And that form of control does not happen, all right, in a nice, peaceful manner. Okay. They believe in something known as ordo ab chaos, which is order out of chaos. All right. So in order for them to actually push further into the agenda, all right, of having that total control, shifting everything to fulfill biblical prophecy, all right, known as the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, otherwise known as MOTB, they're going to have to orchestrate something. All right. They've had the plans and they keep coming out and saying it. All right. As a matter of fact, let's get that as well. All right. They keep coming out and telling the world that they have the infrastructure for that type of system to work. So now it's just a matter of time. Now, the real problem they have is the fact that the prophets are still having an ability to speak about these things. Right. So now you're going to start seeing, because people now have this idea that, oh, Trump won, so things are going to go back to how they used to be prior to 2020. Okay, because that was when Trump was in so-called presidency. The thing is, and I believe I heard Bakar Maf say this earlier in his stream, that they have you thinking, all right, that Trump is coming back and things are going to go back to normal, whatever the case may be. But, and I believe Apostle also mentioned this, right, that this Trump coming in is not the same Trump as 2016. That's one thing people are not understanding. Okay. Whatever conversations they had with him, all right, to prepare him for this next round is not like how he was 2016. All right. And remember, 2016 was a completely different ballgame. Okay. 2016 to 2020 was a completely different ballgame. All right. So it was under him that the CV started. And remember what he used to say, I'm going to have he had warp speed, right? All these different things that he was doing that people didn't really pay attention to towards the latter part of his reign, right? And now he's coming back. He's going to pick up exactly where he stopped. All right. Now the road is paved for him to come in and be the one, if we're going to actually see him, be so-called inaugurated, that is, right? Because from now till January 20th or 21st, a lot could happen. A whole lot could happen, but him coming in could potentially be that opening that they need. Oh, look, the country's been destroyed. Look at all these different things that's happened since you were gone. Now you have to come in and put an iron fist and bring the country back into order. Okay. All these migrant cities and all these different things that's happened. We need to do something about it. See, the so-called war with Ukraine, the so-called war with Israel, Ukraine. You got Israel, so-called Palestinians, Israel, Iran, all these different wars that's going on in the Middle East that has America's name written all over it. How does Trump come in and, navigate these things? And how do these other countries respond to that? You know what I'm saying? He's been going around even on podcasts saying that, when I was in presidency, I was able to negotiate deals and make sure everything was running smoothly. Well, over the past 4 years, a lot has changed. From CV, all right, the whole economy till now, a lot has changed. So how is he going to come in and make things better? He's not. Okay. And then he gave a speech, very pivotal. If you heard it, he said, America is going to go into what? Its golden age. That was a huge, complete lie. Because there's no such thing as America going into a golden age, according to prophecy. Okay, it says we would have healed Babylon, but she would not be healed. Okay, all the signs that you're seeing is the beginning of the end. We've already seen the past 4 years. All right, now the next so-called 4, if we're going to be here for that long, it's going to be miserable. Completely. Why? Because the World Economic Forum and those who rule over the World Economic Forum, they have an agenda. All right, the upper elites who Trump just works for, they have an agenda. We're going to get into that. Okay, but before we do so, there's the book of Psalm chapter 64, and jump down to verse 8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." Right, so it's very important to listen to what these people say because they put it out in plain sight. They tell it right in the open because they know ain't nobody going to do nothing about it. Okay, except for the prophets. You know, so they're looking for a way to bring in that big bang without people being too alarmed or at least actually understanding what is happening and how it happened. Because as long as you have the prophets on the scene, we have the YouTube and all these different social media platforms, you know, which they call, oh, there's a group that spew and hate and all this extra shit. As long as we have the ability to speak and bring out the truth on everything they do and say, it's going to be hard for them to push certain things because they know people are watching. People are listening to what we're saying. There's not no, oh, they're just crazy, bugged out, nut jobs. It's a nut case. Don't listen to, no. People are listening to what the prophets are saying. Some are listening to have a rebuttal to come against us. And most are listening because they're like, nah, you guys are onto something. So we're going to start paying attention more and more. Okay, and we have an influence because a lot of people are changing. Look at this so-called election. That's a result of the truth coming out. Okay, everyone's like, yo, social media and everything is all interconnected. All right, but I want to go back to Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right, going into the beast that came out with 2 horns like a lamb. All right, but spake as a dragon. Okay, and that goes into the 2 political parties, which you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. Okay, now those are just 2 things that they've put out there as a form of choice, but in reality, the ones who actually control it, right? Remember, it's 2 sides of the bird, but it's still one bird. Okay, but who's actually the owner of that bird? It's not even just the controlling of no, who's the owner of the bird, right? And who owns where the bird goes, what it does, and so on and so forth. We're going to get into that. It says, the illusion of free will. The idea that you have free will and are an independent individual or a human being is an illusion. As a concept, free will is promoted and leveraged by those in charge to control and manipulate you to direct you where they want you to be. If you are programmed with certain assumptions when you are an infant and small child, you never question the base programming that determines much of your life choices and path. You can never get out of line since you are only going to operate in the framework you think exists. Imagine you, a rat, in a maze. You run around the maze and it seems like you have the option to turn in whatever direction you want to follow whatever path you want. You go left, right, then left again, and then in the end, you get a small piece of cheese. Looking at it from the rat's perspective, he has total free will. He goes where he wants, when he wants, and gets rewarded for it. The rat has limited perspective and limited access to the maze he lives in. But from his individual perspective, he is in complete control and free to go where he wants. And that is the typical American person, right? We talk about the rat race all the time. This is a system that enables you to move and behave like a rat. Remember, they always tell you, oh, we did a test on rats and so on and so forth. When they say that, that's a code for saying that a lot of the tests that we do is on people, unsuspecting people who they might have in the penitentiary system. They do tests on them, right? Universities, they do tests on students, okay? Sometimes it's mostly psychological tests, right? Covertly done, okay? The hospitals, man, we don't want to go there, okay? Though that's like the testing grounds. You go in there, you a whole guinea pig at that point. You know what I'm saying? If you come out alive unscathed with no type of extra lingering disease that come down the line, then hey, the Lord is with you. You know, but they do all kinds of tests on people. That's why they call it a rat race, because they look at everyone as a rat. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's keep going. And the point is, they give you this idea of choice, and we're gonna read more about it, because when you actually go into it, all I'm not saying some, no, all corporations, all right, whether it's those who control the food sector, those who control transportation sector, those who control the flow of information sector, those who control the so-called health sector, all right, traveling, all kinds of everything from Apple to Microsoft, all right, to Monsanto, okay, what else? All the corporations, every corporation you could think of, all right, they all have something known as shareholders, okay? And the more shares you have within a company, the more power you have to leverage certain, so-called policies, if you will. Okay. Now, when you trace every single corporation in the world, right, they all go up to the major corporation known as BlackRock. All right. Lord willing, one day I'm going to go a little bit more into it, give you some in-depth breakdowns so you kind of understand you get a better view of how much control these devils really have. Right. And it's always consolidated. OK, so from airline companies to, like I said, food companies to whatever, clothing lines, music industry, everything, TV, all that. All right. They all consolidated into one. Right. Which is BlackRock. And then BlackRock. All right. You got that guy, Larry Fink, CEO Larry Fink, that nasty, ugly, billy goat looking ass demon. He looked like a retarded Jewish child. That's what he looks like. Anyway, you have him who actually has a lot of power, but he's not the top. He's not the head honcho. Okay, because BlackRock is owned, all right, by Vanguard. Okay, and Vanguard is how the elites. We're going to talk about the Rothschild family, the Rockefellers, and all that. Okay, they control everything else through Vanguard. Okay. And then it goes down the line from there. So the lower you go down the totem pole, the more options it looks like you have. But the higher you go up, you'd be like, oh shit, these motherfuckers own this and that. And oh damn, okay. And it just consolidates all the way to the top. So everything starts with Vanguard and it ends with Vanguard. And when you go into that word Vanguard, it means avant-garde. That's where that word comes from. Okay. And they believe that they're the forerunners or the guardians of the planet. We decide how the direction in which the planet is supposed to go into. That's Vanguard. Okay. And pertaining to Job 9:24, who's the one who has the power to actually influence the direction in which the world is going into? Esau, Edom, the wicked. Okay. And it starts with the Rothschild family and so on and so forth. All right. We always bring these things out, but they actually have power, like actual power to influence the direction of the world. And when you see, all right, the way the world is moving now, it should tell you everything you need to know. That's why the scripture says they're known as the wicked. Okay. Anyway, like I said, Lord willing, I'll go into that another day. All right. So going back to the reading, it says, you as a human here are in the same situation as the rat. Depending on to whom you were born and become, you only have access to a part of the maze. If you are born poor, you have very limited access and can only move in a few scripted directions. If you were born to an upper middle class business person, you have access to more of the maze than the poor person, but you are still limited by those above you. If you are part of the millionaire lackey elite, you have access to most of the maze, but still have to operate within approved boundaries by the owners of the maze / managers of the maze. Finally, if you are a true elite and a real owner of society, like a billionaire or a king, well, really trillionaire, that's where the Rothschilds were at, right? And king go back to the Latin word rex, okay? You not only have a full run of the maze, but can make changes to the maze structure itself to grant special access and benefits for you and your friends. Now, when you go back and watch Eldar Pastar's video earlier today, I forget the title, all right? But he mentioned how, you got these people going around saying, oh, we could have changed something with the election, and he was saying, look, you have the popular vote and you have the electoral vote, okay? If you want to actually influence who becomes president, then you should become a delegate that you can control the electoral college, all right? That's where the actual, presidency actually matters, you see? So a lot of people just cast a popular vote, and we always tell you, when you vote, it's just a casting of consent. You're just letting them know, I'm consenting to what's about to happen in the next 4 years. That's all it is. And it's also an illusion, because really, you know that the presidency is not chosen by a popular vote. It's by the electoral college, right? Which is another topic we're going to go into another day for more clarity. Okay, because a lot of people don't really understand that whole concept of the whole electoral college and how that whole shit works. It's done it's done like that on purpose. Okay, so there's less of you to understand how it works, so you don't really bat an eye on what's really going on over there. Okay. Anyway, so let's continue back in the reading. It says, our life is a script, one that has been programmed into us to turn us into commodities for the business machine called the United States of America. We are only of use to the machine as long as we fulfill our prescribed role. The illusion of choice is key to supporting and enforcing the illusion of free will. Like the rat, you are given prescribed options as a voter and consumer to make you feel like you have choices. Just like a rat turning left and right in a maze as many times as you like, you, the individual, also have the same illusion of perspective. So, for example, you walk into a grocery store, like I said before, every single item on the shelf, whether it's Coke or Pepsi, comes from the same company or the same owners. Okay? They just want to give you a different perspective, right? When you look at a lot of these major vehicles that you see around the world, right? You might see Nissan, you might see Infiniti. Somebody might look at those cars and be, oh, those are two different cars. Yeah, but guess what? They're owned by the same people. Okay? It's the same company, just have two different car brands. See, it's just an illusion of choice, right? And regardless, the money's going back to the same people who made the same cars anyway. See, you're thinking you're buying from Infiniti, so you're a loyal, staunch driver of Infiniti, so everything about you is straight up Infiniti. But guess what? The ones who make Infiniti are the same ones who make Nissan. Okay? That's why you see an Infiniti that looks just like a freaking Pathfinder. You'd be like, damn, they look kind of have a similar design. Yes, because they're the same people that make it. Okay? So it's the same thing. You might go into the shelf, you might see, this hair brand or this hair product here, right? And then a few, lines down, you see another hair product. So it looks like, I'm gonna go with this one because it's better than that one. It's the same thing, just branded differently. That's all. They've been doing that with propaganda for years. Something known as advertisement. Okay, another topic we're gonna go into another day. We're gonna expose these devils step by step. Anyway, continuing, it says, every few years you get to choose between left and right, just like we just had, right? In an election, and are told that this choice is critical to you being free and independent person in a democracy, right? You had Elon Musk coming out saying, go out there and vote, because vote like your future depends on it, because it does. Like a damn robot. Like, shut up. You know how this system works. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what's at stake, so to speak, right? He knows exactly what's going on. You're going to push this whole Neuralink shit, all this microchipping stuff and all that, and then you're going to tell people to vote like it matters. Well, you're part of the people who are creating a system, Trump included, create a system that's going to lock everybody in and say that the only way out is by having a C-hip in your body, a form of national ID. That's part of the resolutions that he's going to come in and enforce because of all this fraud and migrants and all these different things. We need to identify everyone. We're going to go biometrics. He's been said that. He's pushing it because of the Jays, man. They're pushing that shit. It all goes through Israel. You know what I mean? So they're the ones pushing it. So they're going to have him push it. If not, he's going to be offed. All right. If he ever says, no, I'm not going to do it this way. What? You out of there. He doesn't have a choice. This is what he has to do. That's why he was chosen. He was selected to do this. All right. And he's been warned. If you deviate from the plan, you already know what time it is. So continuing, it says, you are also told that if you don't make a choice of one or the other, then it's your fault if things don't go well. You had the choice to vote and you didn't. So the accountability is on your side for our problems, not our leaders, since we are in a democracy and the people make all the decisions. The leaders are just servants of the people, right? Part of the whole myth of the United States is that it is a representative democracy, a new form of forward-looking government that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. There are intermediaries called congressmen and the like that represent you, since you, the dumb herd animals, can't possibly make democratic decisions on your own. Luckily, there are smart and well-born elites that run things for you and let you know what jobs you can have, how much money you are allowed to make, what policies you will vote for, and what issues you should care about. So while the United States claims to be a representative democracy, and it has all the structure and form of one, right? Going back to Revelation 13 and 11, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, right? The structure, the 2 political parties, and what? He spake as a dragon, right? So let's read. It says it has a structure and form of one. It does not function like a real democracy, direct or representative. If it did, it would mean the populace had democratic input into major decisions and planning, like the setting of policy and where to put capital investment. All of this is done outside of the public and democratic sphere and done solely by the elites and their representatives, those who actually have the power, okay? The dracon, if you will. The populace also or only participate in corporate elite-approved discussions and debates that are limited by the media outlets and framework they establish. This whole infrastructure and code surrounding it is all to give you, the individual, the public, the illusion of free will and choice. The elites want you to think you are in a democracy and make decisions about things. It's like when you let your kids win a game, knowing you could beat them whenever you want. You will see time and time again, when anything threatens the true power structure, which is the truth, right? The prophets of the Lord, the illusion of democracy will be quickly dispensed. You will also see that when one of the elite's henchmen or lackeys get out of line and threatens the true power structure, they will be taken out of position and replaced, right? An example was Richard Nixon, okay? You see, if you go back to the whole, what was it called? Something gate. Watergate, was it? I think it was something gate. And he was tripping and he was getting all scared and shit because he had plans. All right, he was falling out of line. JFK was falling out of line. Okay? I believe he said something about there was a conspiracy, right, that he planned to expose while he was still president. And I think 7 days or 10 days after that, he was off. He was up out of there. Okay? And he gave a quote, all right, something to the effect of there's a plot or a conspiracy, all right, in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child, blah, 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 you know, and that he said before he leaves this high and noble office, he intends to expose this plot, okay? And then 7 days after that, he was up out of there, all right, because now you're talking too much. Now you're falling out of line. You're a henchman. You're a lackey. You're put in place to keep the illusion going. And here you come talking about you about to expose things. What? He was out of there. Okay. This is looking at it from a strict definition point of view. America could more appropriately be called a plutocracy or a plutarch or plutarchy. Okay. A plutocratic oligarchy, which is a government run by a small group of rich and powerful, mostly wicked, for the benefit of the rich and powerful. You could call the U.S. a lot of other things, like a corporatocracy, right? Meaning ruled by corporations, right? Or a kleptocracy, or a partycracy. Okay, but the one thing I would not call the U.S. is a democracy. Let's talk a little more about how the illusion of choice is used to give you, the individual, the impression you live in a democratic society. America is not the two-party system people have commonly claimed it is. This is embedded propaganda from birth to present, or to present an illusion of choice and inclusion to the general population. I am right or left. I belong to one group and the other group is terrible. Right? It says, I belong to one group and the other group is terrible and immoral and the exact opposite of what I believe or what we believe. This is the way members of both parties are conditioned and reinforced to think. That's why when Kamala was running, all she kept saying was, well, but Trump is this and if he's back in presidency, that'll be the end of our democracy and all this extra shit. It's like, wait a minute. Last time I checked, the Supreme Court and the damn House, okay, it's mostly Democrats, right? If you really look at it, the majority of people in there is mostly Democrats. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's going on here? It's like something known as checks and balances. Unless that doesn't exist anymore, which we know it doesn't, then how is he going to just be able to just run around if they have mostly Democrats who are going to be standing in his way of putting things together? So this whole thing is set up for a major division. Major. Okay? It says, remember, Trump, a few months ago, they were persecuting him, talking about, bringing him up on charges and all kinds of different things, right? And I believe it went up to, did it go up to the Supreme Court? If it did, then imagine him being the president. Those same people are still there. Contingency Brown and all her cohorts, they're all there. All right. And they were put in by who? Joseph Biden. Oh, DEI, we got to bring diversity, inclusion, and equality and all this bullshit. We're going to put a black woman in there, and she might be against the values that Trump is coming in with. And that's going to be a division right there, all the way up to the Supreme Court. So we'll see. And I believe Chief Justice Roberts is still around. So, hey, mark on that. You said, what's that? Mark my words, you rule on this. That's what Biden told him, right? In regards to the CHIP. So we'll see. Anyway, so continue. It says, the United States of America has a one-party system with two factions. That one party is the pro-business party. And both factions agree and align on all their pro-business policies. Watch for which bills get passed when the warring parties can't agree on anything. It's always military funding, which the Pentagon research subsidies, right? Budget increases and pro-business policies. They always have almost universal support. It's all the fluff around it that all conversation and debate is directed to publicly, right? An example would be abortion rights. And these things deflect from the true nature and allegiances of all the pro-business politicians who are all bought and paid for by similar corporate interests. The pro-business party has a far-right faction, the GOP. I believe that's the Grand Old Party, some shit like that. It's the stupidest thing. Grand Old Party. It says, and a centrist faction, the Democrats. Even though there are only two major factions of the same party, there are many more subgroups of elites in our country that have disputes with each other and fight over power and control, shifting ownership back and forth in a never-ending tug of war for advantage and position. Does this sound a little like how elite families maintain power over generations? There you go. Not surprising to see that same process happening in the apparatus of the state, in other words, the politics, which is just a servant to those who really control everything. Okay, that's that dragon. All right, the elites themselves. Okay, it says the illusion of choice isn't just about voting and pseudo democracies. It is used to give people the illusion of choice when it comes to products, goods, and services as well. If you looked out at the business world and saw all the products and the brands out there, you would say there's a tremendous choice, or there's tremendous choices and options for consumers to buy whatever they want from lots of different companies, like we mentioned earlier, right? Just like in the illusion of the two-party system, the number of businesses and brands in an illusion is an illusion meant to give you the impression of choice. For example, only 10 companies control every large food group and beverage brand in the world. In the corporate media space, today only 6 companies control nearly all the news and information we hear and see. In 1983, media was consolidated into over 50 companies. Do you think that this consolidation of media by wealthy corporate owners could be impacting our ability to get free and independent news and information? So imagine this, all the consumption that Americans typically do is all controlled by very few people. And we've been saying that. That's why they're able to always push the same narratives over and over and over again. Okay? If it's go take the Vanessa, everybody says go take the Vanessa. If it's go vote Kamala Harris, it's everybody go vote Kamala Harris. If it's Trump is a dictator and he's going to be Hitler, everybody's saying he's going to, you know what I'm saying? It's the same shit. So when the MOTB comes out, everybody's going to push the MOTB. All right? It says, if we had a true democracy, how could it function without access to reliable and authentic news and information? Okay. And I think I'm going to leave it off there just so we don't make this too long. And what I'm going to do is I'll probably do a follow-up, and we're going to title that The Corporate State of the United States, right? Because America is actually a corporation. So we're going to go into that a little bit, go into the history of it, Lord willing. Going back to even prior to 1776, but we're really going to start off at 1776, right? And then go into it a little bit, 1871, known as the Act of 1871, when America went from the United States of America, and it became, the United States for America. The Constitution for the United States of America, and it became the Constitution of the United States of America. All right, that's what the Act of 1871 is all about. So, Lord willing, we're also going to go into that, to give a little bit clarity on these things as well. All right, but yeah, I just want to touch on this a little bit. You got these people thinking that their vote actually matters and stuff like that. It's just an illusion of choice again. All right, but those of us who are in the know, again, this is just we just the real choice, or the real thing that we're waiting for, really. All right, is Yahweh Shem Yahushai turning up the heat, all right, and putting that blast of plagues upon this place and hastening the downfall of America so we can get the fuck up out of here. Right, that's really our main goal. All right, that's our only expectation. Okay, and it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. Scriptures tell you, let's get that, and then we can close it out. Okay, don't be deceived. All right, don't be deceived, because it's coming. All right. Let's get this real quick in the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5 and verse 3 says, "For when they shall answer," let's start from the top. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Right? And that's how it's supposed to come through. It's not going to be too obvious, right? It has to happen, suddenly and secretly, right? Where people are unexpecting, and then boom, just like that. That's when you're going to catch them off guard, right? "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Okay, so that time is where we're heading into. We've been saying it. We're giving you warning and warning and warning. People might be like, "Oh, but you guys said this was going to happen, but it never happened." Da, da, da. Well, the Lord, think of it. The Lord is buying you more time. Okay, He's buying you more time to get your shit together. But most people are not going to do that. Listen, man. Whether these things happen today or tomorrow or the week after or the month after, guess what? We always gonna wait for it. Most people, the first day happen, oh, ain't nothing happened. I'm going back to my regular life. That's how you gonna get caught off guard. For us, we don't stop. All right, we don't stop watching. Just because we thought it was gonna happen today and nothing happened today, so then that is over. Nah, hell no. Okay, hell no, man. It's always watching, because that's what the Lord said. Watch as well as pray. Okay, so those two things go hand in hand. Okay, being vigilant, being watchful, because these devils ain't stopping. Right? It's a battle. It's a tug of war. Right? Oh, okay, we're trying to do this, but then these people are gonna see it. They're gonna broadcast it. All right. So what do we have to do? Well, let's put some information out there, make it seem like we're gonna do something today, but in reality we're gonna do something yesterday or do something tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just to throw them off a little bit. Oh shit! No, hold on. This guy. One of them is just doing a video talking about what we plan to do again. Ah, damn it. We'll go back to the drawing board. Let's see what can we do now. I guess we're gonna have to pull the plug. Yeah, but they already said that we're going to do that. So it's going to make it too obvious. Then people really going to believe them. Ah, shit. Okay, well, I guess, when do you want to do it? We're looking at before 2025. Yeah, but 2025, we're running out of time here. So they're always bugging like, oh, shit, how are we going to do it? Because these men are onto us. Why? Because of this. Okay? And we're not going to stop being onto you. All right, there's a book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, surely the Lord God, Yahweh, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Okay, so part of the secret of Esau, all right, his agendas, guess what? The Lord is already revealed to his men. All right, so, they might think they got some crazy, thing going on, but guess what? It's already been revealed to us. Okay, for years now. The whole New World Order agenda and everything, before it became mainstream information that people talk about now, we were bringing it out years ago. And we were called conspiracy nuts and you guys are crazy and all this extra shit. Okay? But guess what? Those days are fast approaching. Okay? Those days are fast approaching. Repent. Anyway, I'm leaving it off there. Lowell, you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And until next time, Shalom.